Welcome back to Animal Appreciation. It has been a hot second since we've done one of these. This time we are talking about ants. Now there are so many types of really cool ant types, but this video will only be covering a couple of the ones that I think are the coolest and some of the most interesting ones. Let's start off strong with the bullet ant. Now, there are kind of two-ish types of bullet ants. There's the South and Central American one, which is this guy. There's also the Asian bullet ant, but we're going to be talking about the South American one because they are a bit more well-known. Like I said, they're found in the tropical forest areas of South America, and they are called the bullet ant because they have one of, if not the strongest and most painful stings out of any insect that we've discovered thus far, described as being pretty damn similar to being shot with a bullet. Now, while almost always not fatal unless an allergic reaction happens, being stung by a bullet ant is described as being an intensely unpleasant experience, and I can imagine why. Next up, we have the absolutely bizarre honeypot ants. Now, these guys are found in more dry desert areas of North America like Mexico, as well as a bunch of areas in Africa. These guys are unique because there's a special class of workers that basically act as food storage for the colony. You can see these guys up here are the honeypot workers, and they have this just engorged, distended abdomen that is a storage for other food. The regular workers, these guys will just feed and feed these storage workers until their abdomen is just real big. And they just kind of store the food in their abdomen, hanging upside down from the roof until food is needed, at which point a different worker will come and harvest food to be used. This is a very good desert adaptation because it keeps food fresh for a very long time and pretty much provides a constant food source for the rest of the colony. Next up, we have the Saharan silver ant, which is my favorite type of ant. They live in the Saharan desert, which is super hot, so they have an actually very cool heat avoidance strategy. Their body is covered in these tiny hairs which crisscross and make that silver reflective surface, which works to kind of reflect heat off of their body instead of absorbing it. This helps keep them cool and also makes them look very cool. And they're also the fastest known ant species with a ridiculous speed and one of the fastest insects in the world. Next, this guy over here is the leafcutter ant. There's a bunch of different species of leafcutter ants that are found all throughout Central and South America, as well as a few places in North America. They're known for cutting these large chunks of leaves and other plant matter to bring back to their nest. However, instead of actually eating the leaves and other plant stuff, they just store it underground to feed a specific type of fungus. The fungus is the actual food source for the ants instead of the plant matter, and they just harvest the plant matter in order to farm the fungus. Next up are the driver ants. Now, there's actually a ton of different types of driver ants found throughout multiple areas of Africa and even extending over into Asia. They're known for forming these absolutely ridiculously massive trails of pretty much the whole colony that forms this very large line and trail of ants. And this trail will basically decimate anything in its path. It will eat plants, it will eat other animals, it will eat crops, it will get into homes and eat people's food, and they're also quite aggressive, so they will attack people if people get in their way. Like I said, there's a bunch of different driver ant species, but on average, they also have the largest queens of any ant species that we've discovered thus far. They typically also perform very large raids on neighboring ant colonies and bee colonies and just kind of anything they can get, and are considered to be a pretty big pest in some areas. This one is another pretty cool species, the green-headed ant, that are only found in Australia and a couple very small select places in New Zealand. They're known for their very shiny metallic coloration, being usually blue, green, or purple. They're described as being typically non-aggressive, but do have quite a painful sting, which again can cause problems if there's an allergic reaction. Next up is this wacky looking lad, the fierce fishhook ant. Now, these guys are a relatively newly discovered species, found largely in Southeast Asia in countries like Cambodia. They're named for the fishhook-like structures that are on the backs, and these are actually incredibly sharp spines capable of puncturing and sticking into skin, and are apparently actually very difficult to remove. Next up, we have the giant trapjaw ant. There's a few different species of trapjaw ants found throughout the world, but mostly in tropical areas. They're known for having an incredibly strong and fast and painful bite due to these stupidly massive jaws, and they have such a powerful strike that it can actually, slingshot them backwards and out of danger if necessary, and is capable of completely cutting smaller insects in half. Similarly, we have the Dracula ant, which is endemic to Madagascar and has the fastest speed of any living thing that we've discovered thus far in its jaw strikes. It can move its jaw faster than a cheetah can run, and much faster than even the trapjaw ant can strike, and is called the Dracula ant because the sustenance for adult ants comes from kind of drinking the hemolymph or blood from the larva. Next, we have the yellow crazy ant, which has come up quite a few times before in other videos. It's originally native to areas in Africa, but has become wildly invasive in multiple areas throughout the world, and is especially causing problems on places like Christmas Island. They're called the crazy ants because they have a very erratic and nonsensical way of moving when distressed, kind of just going everywhere. And they are one of the most successful invasive species pretty much ever recorded. Next is another favorite of mine, the acrobat ants, which are found worldwide with a bunch of different species. They're tree-dwelling, mainly arboreal, and they can be identified by having a heart-shaped gaster, and the act of raising their abdomens up whenever threatened to be like, hey, don't fuck with me. They're quite aggressive and will take on things much, much larger than them. Next, we have another super cool species, the weaver ants, which are a type of kind of leafcutter ants, but they're known for making these insane nests out of leaves and silk that is produced by their larva that is used to glue together leaves, kind of like just a big glue gun. They're also known for forming these very complex body bridges to get to a lot of spaces that other ant species couldn't. They're typically found in the tropical areas of Asia and Australia. Next up, we have the doorhead ants, also known as the Hodor ants, which are characterized by having a special class of workers that their only function is to just be a door. They're found in tropical areas throughout the world, and yeah, they make doors with their own head. These are the ghost ants, a species of a very small ant, named as such because sometimes they look like floating heads due to the fact that their abdomen is almost entirely transparent. They're originally native to somewhere in Africa, but have since spread and become invasive in pretty much every area of the world. This lad is the Malaysian exploding ant, a type of suicide ant that, in defense, the workers will sometimes just explode themselves, producing a sticky acid substance that coats all kind of invaders. This does, of course, kill the ant, but it is a very effective defense mechanism. And finally, since we are running out of time, this is the golden spiny ant, a species of smaller trapjaw ant that is native to Australia, named for the very shiny golden hairs that cover most of the body. Now, I did have a couple more ant species that I wanted to cover, but since we are almost at 10 minutes, we're gonna have to come back to that at another time. But for now, these are some of my favorite ant species.